of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. And then today, it's game day. So that means the Bulls will be facing the Toronto Raptors today. We did get an update that unfortunately looks like Zach LaVine will not be playing in tonight. He joins Kobe White and Andre Drummond being out in this game. We're going to talk about it right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
All right, Bulls fans, our Bulls face the Toronto Raptors today without Zach LaVine. We are going to be down one Zach LaVine in this game. The Bulls have played enough without Zach LaVine. We kind of know how they're going to play. The only difference is in this is the fact that we'll now also be without Kobe White and Andre Drummond coming off the bench, which changes a lot. Goran Dragic, you know, when you have to rely on him for a lot of minutes, he kind of at times falters. Also, we're just going to be just a short rotation in general, unless the Bulls do plan to play Dalen Terry or somebody. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how this team's going to play with all the pieces that they're missing. These are all key rotational pieces, right? Kobe White, even though he hasn't played the best, he's still good for over 20 minutes per game on this team. So it's going to be interesting to see how they battle back, how they deal with this, and it kind of is what it is there. Christian says, get the win, no excuses. I mean, having players out that aren't excuses. That's a reason. I mean, there's a reason. What's good, Haize? What's going on, MC Season? What's going on, Goon? But yeah, injuries, when you're missing key players of your rotation, that's not an excuse. That is a reason, right? There are differences between excuses and reasons. That's a reason. I hope we get a DeMar masterclass this game, considering it's his own team. Well, he's played pretty good against Toronto so far since he's been on this team. I think did we sweep the season series against the Raptors last season? I believe so. But outside of DeMar, Vooch is going to be key in this game as well. How is Vooch going to respond to this game? How is he going to come out? And you know, after having two not so good games, but we'll see. Pascal Siakam is also going to be out this game, so they are missing a key piece. Fred VanVleet's also going to be out. He's been out for a while though. So you know, we'll see what happens with this game. It's going to be an interesting game just to see how it plays out. Bro, Zach getting paid $200 million. DeRozan and Vooch play every game. Well, again, that's why, because Vooch and DeMar aren't as big piece to the Bulls' future as Zach LaVine. And this team wants to play it safe with the investment they just made $200 million in. Period. So yeah, that's just what it is. Trade P. Will, no, that's an idiotic statement. No, don't trade P. Will, especially not now. They got one on us. Oh, they got one? Okay. Still won the season series then. Fred VanVleet's playing. He's still listed as out on this. What I just looked, it says VanVleet is considered questionable for Sunday's game. It hasn't marked out as far as the status, though. Is he playing? All right, I'm not really worried about Fred VanVleet so much. Their team has hella height compared to our small ball lineup, so it's going to be a tough matchup. Well, yeah, and they have more length as well. I mean, when you look at their depth, Pascal's out, so they're now going to be starting Precious Achiuwa, and he's only 6'8", so it's not really like when you with Pascal out, they really aren't that tall of a team. You look at the two players that are going to be playing center for them. Precious and Chris Boucher are going to be playing, and they're both 6'9" and 6'8". So, no, that's not incredibly more height over the Bulls. I mean, yeah, that's as Derrick Jones Jr. is going to be playing backup center. He's 6'6", but there's definitely not more height than Vooch. Then you look at the power forward, Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes only 6'7". So that's, again, a good matchup for P. Will. So, no, they're not a terribly tall team, especially when you're missing Siakam. And even then, Precious is only 6'8", and so he plays. So, no, they're not an incredible. Now, they're a long team. They have a lot of length as far as wingspan, but they're not a terribly tall team at all. I watched the World Series Game 6 yesterday. Walker being mean to me. Well. Are we getting Drummond? No, Drummond's out this game as well. So the MRI came back clean on Andre Drummond, so there's nothing like structural or need surgery or anything. It's really just soreness. And much like they're doing with, like, you got to keep in mind, this season is the Bulls saw last season their roster for a couple of different reasons, but their season dropped off because of injuries, because of not being healthy, because of some stagnation in certain areas. They are not playing it. They're going to play it safe with any injuries this season, just period. They are going to play it safe. They're going to allow players the most time because even if they seed a couple of wins and victories in the middle of the season, they want to be healthy going into the playoffs. So they're going to rest as many people as possible. Haize, what do you think about this take? The Bulls aren't winners, they're performers. They know how to perform. What hasn't to what? Hasn't to what? But I would still say that the Bulls are everybody in the NBA is a performer. I'll say that. Everybody's a performer. We need wins. We need winners. We don't just need performers. This ain't the circus. What up, Haize? What do you want to see from today's game? Execution, specifically defensively. When you remove Zach LaVine from the starting lineup and insert Alex Caruso, at that point you're already saying, hey, this is about to be a defensive game. Yes, Io can shoot and he can score, and we're seeing that ability for him grow tons this season. But it's still, you're missing a player like Zach LaVine, and typically in those games, that's when the Bulls try to make it a defensive game. And they're missing Pascal, who's their top scorer as well. You want to make that as much of a defensive game as possible, in my opinion. That's what you want to try to do. You want to try to muddy it up. You want to try to make it a defensive game. MC season, I accidentally hit enter before finishing my thought. That happens to me sometimes too. Like when I'm in the Windy City Breeze chat, it happens to me sometimes. By the way, we are streaming here and over on Chicago Sports Central, so you guys can tune in either spot. We're growing Chicago Sports Central. We got some White Sox content coming, not for me. I want to repeat, not for me. Haize is not adding any more podcasts to his repertoire because I'm not doing it. Not doing it. But nonetheless, so as we continue to build out Chicago Sports Central, make sure you guys are tuned in over there as well, because there's going to be some exclusive content going over to Chicago Sports Center as well. Chicago Sports Center, Chicago Sports Central as well. But all right, what else we got? We should play through Vooch tonight. He can put the body on guys, and he is skillful enough to be forced down there. I agree. I think that we should play through Vooch more times than not anyway. I think that our default way of play should be through Vooch, if in my opinion. Because he just offers so much. When you look at, also you force Vooch to be active. When he's active in games, he's engaged in both the defensive and offensive side of the ball. At that point, too, that forces players to play without the ball and to move and cut without the ball, because Vooch is going to be a player that can get you. If you cut with Vooch, having and playing through Vooch, he's going to get the ball to you. So hopefully that's what we see. What do you think about the undefeated Bucks? I mean, listen, the Bucks should have come into the favorite anyway. Like, when you have a player like Giannis, you should be the favorite in your conference every year. Doesn't always mean it's going to shake out that way, but you should be the favorite. They're firing on all cylinders, starting off the season 9-0. Cleveland Cavaliers are right there on their heels, though, playing excellently as well. But as we expected, it's like one win separating every team from number 3 to number 9. There's like 2 wins separating them all right now. So it's going to be a tight race in the Eastern Conference this season for sure. Do you think we will be the best bench in the NBA when we get Zoe back and Io comes off the bench again? I think we can be the best bench in the NBA even without that. I think when you look at the way that this bench has come together, when you look at the way that it plays, especially when Gordon and they're getting out in transition, and you have Drummond out there just getting so many extra possessions with rebounding wise, I think we can already be the best bench in the league. But then when you look at it, yes, and keep in mind, Zoe's going to come off the bench for a while too, and giving those type of weapons, giving a shooter like Dragic, giving Drummond in the pick and roll to Zoe is going to be dangerous. And then when you move Io back, going to be that as well. So yeah, we definitely have the opportunity to be that. No one watching on Chicago Sports Central, I can jump over there and mod it. No, you're good, bro. You're good. It's not a big deal. Chicago Sports Central, we're growing it. We're growing that platform. Everything's kind of filtering in still through here. It is what it is. Like, so I never want the viewers who are on Chicago Bull Central to feel like they have to go over to Chicago Sports Center, Chicago Sports Central. I want that to be its own thing. Keep in mind, that's going to be more for the generalized, like, just Chicago sports fan in general. This is going to be for just the Bulls fans. So no, you never have to leave over. We'll build that up as it builds. Coot Lover says, talk that talk. I believe we should play through Vooch all the time. Yeah, there's so many benefits of playing through Vooch, but you do have to have players that are playing and moving without the ball. We have not had that consistently yet this season. Hopefully we get to being consistent with movement without the ball. And once we do that and playing through Vooch, there's still going to be times where you play through DeMar, of course. Still going to be times where you play off Zach as well, and that's fine. But I think the thing that's going to make and add longevity to this team and add this team just having so many people who can shoot, when you really look at the Bulls starting lineup, every player in the starting lineup can shoot the three. Patrick Williams included. And when you add like the ability to get to the rim as well, which most of the players can do as well, DeMar we know can get to the bucket. Zach can get to the bucket once he starts trusting that knee again. Patrick Williams can get to the bucket. If he starts slashing consistently, that's going to be even more dangerous team. So that's what I would like to see the Bulls offense develop into for sure. Bulls need to find the worst three-point shooter on the Raptors and make sure he doesn't get hot. That is a fact. That's a fact because that's how it usually goes with us, right? You're looking at this. So who's going to get off? Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Otto Porter Jr. starts going off this game. Like we always give up a big game to some role player. Being a former Bull as well, would not be surprised. Not going to lie, I feel like we should get a W today and L tomorrow or vice versa. Listen, I need 2 wins. Especially if we get the win tonight without Zach, I definitely need us to win tomorrow at home with Zach. If we can win on the road without Zach, when we go back home, we need to win at home with Zach. That's period. Chicago Bears Central in the building. I don't know if that's C-Dub or Bobby. They in the building. What's going on, fam? It's time for Ayo to take control of the game. Listen, Ayo, his scoring, right? It's just getting so flawless, and he knows how to pick his spots now, too. I really do think that Ayo could be averaging like 17, 18 points per game if he was selfish. Like if Ayo just went into like if we were like this team that was just, we didn't have a player like Vooch and DeMar who we play through, Ayo and the growth that he's shown with putting the ball on the floor, the floaters, the getting around the rim, and the lack of hesitation shooting the three, oh man, Ayo could definitely be up there. OPJ, Otto Porter Jr. playing it. I think so. I believe so. He's not listed on the report. 2 wins. I'm greedy. I feel you, bro. I'm greedy. I need all the wins. We're going to be tired as hell tomorrow, but that's for any back-to-back for any team, so let me stop making excuses. Well, keep in mind, we're playing the same team. We're playing Toronto tonight, and we're playing them tomorrow, so both teams are coming off a back-to-back. So at that point, it's really no rest advantage or disadvantage because we both have the same amount of travel. Both teams are playing the same amount of games in the same number of days. So yeah, I need wins both nights. Any update on Van Vliet and Siakam? Are they both out? Well, Van Vliet is playing. Siakam is out. Siakam is actually going to miss about 2 weeks. What's good, Haize? I'm pretty sure we're going to win. Pat going to have a step up. They'll have to step up. Yes, Patrick Williams, especially guarding Scotty Barnes, is going to have to step up. Scotty Barnes, who's averaging 15 points, 16 rebounds, and 5 assists. Shout out to Scotty Barnes, man. Old teammate of Patrick Williams on a PER of 18.88. This is going to be a time where Patrick Williams is going to draw that defensive assignment. They're similarly sized players, similar wingspans. And like I've been saying and calling for is I want to see Patrick Williams I want to see him make his statement defensively before anything else. And hopefully he can do that. Have we gotten word if Derrick Jones Jr. is playing tonight or not? Because I know he was listed as questionable as well. Because if Derrick Jones Jr. is missing too, that means we're getting a sighting of either Tony Bradley, Marco Simonovic, or Kostas Antetokounmpo tonight. Or we're going to be playing Patrick Williams as a small ball 5 a lot. So we'll see how that goes. What do you think the bench will look like when Zoe gets back and ready to get back in the starting lineup? I think Ayo, Alex, Goran, Green, Drummond. Yeah, that's probably right, but it's probably going to fluctuate between the matchup too, because the way that DJJ is played, especially with like rim protection and just the energy things, I think they're still going to work him into the lineup for sure. And it may just be like between him and Goran on what they need out there, because if Ayo scoring like he has been in the starting lineup and Goran shooting well, we may see to where and Caruso shooting well, we may see them say, hey, we got enough shooting. We don't need Goran tonight. We need Derrick Jones Jr.'s energy and his length. Or they may say, hey, we need some shooting. We're down by such and such. We need some shooting out there. So it's going to be Goran instead of Derrick Jones Jr. Alana, that's true. Also, plus the Raptors just played the day before yesterday too. So, yeah, similar on rest there. Pat has to limit those, absolutely, especially the travel calls. Those have to go away. I need the Bulls to hit this home and home like MJ hit LaBradford Smith on The Last Dance. I need this team to just play consistently on both sides of the ball tonight. And like I said, when Zach LaVine is out and you put in Alex Caruso in that starting lineup, that changes the game from being an offensive-minded game to a defensive-minded game, which you still have your offensive keys in DeMar and Vooch, but this is a game where we need to set the tone defensively early. When Ayo's aggressive, I can see his frustration, his opponent frustration in guarding him and in him guarding them. Like the strength that Ayo added, the muscle Ayo added to his body, I really think we're still kind of not understanding just how much that's added to every part of his game. When people try to body him up now, when Ayo goes downhill and has a step with that strength, he's finishing around the rim better. And then on the defensive end, it's crazy. Luckily, after this back-to-back, we don't have another one until December 10th and 11th. I know. Thank God. The Bulls schedule frees up a lot, which means we're probably going to see Zach LaVine in more games as well because they have more rest. Brandon Eljet supports a lot in that with good point. Cordell98 says, Haize, what is IOPR? I want to know how it indicates growth and better system. Last I checked, its PER was like 18, but give me 1 second. I'll go check it again. It's 13. So Ayo Dosunmu right now is averaging 12.3 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 3.2 assists. And he's doing that at a 13.71 PER. Now, his PER, I think, was a high, not 18. I think it was 15. This is still up 2 points, 2.5 points, basically, over his PER of last season with a higher usage rate, which we usually see players be less effective with higher usage. And he's shooting the ball at a 60% true shooting rate. The growth that we've seen, the eye test is also in the statistics. It's also in the statistics. He's averaging better than he was in his time as a starter last season, and he averaged 11 points per game as a starter last season. He's definitely grown a lot. The Drogic DJJ 1-2 combo has been great to see. I hope we see more of it tonight. Let's see if Derrick Jones Jr. is playing. We need Zach to attack the paint like I was not playing today, but yeah, we need him to get back to attacking Zach for sure. I moved on from Zach being aggressive. No, Zach's been aggressive. He just hasn't been aggressive driving to the lane as he usually has, but Zach's absolutely still been aggressive. Absolutely been aggressive. He's taken over quarters a couple of different times. But overall, I just need to see and also you talk about Zach being aggressive. Zach's probably putting together one of his best defensive seasons as well. Zach LaVine has stepped up big time defensively. And I think his defensive rating reflects that as well. Let's look at it. Let's take a look. So Zach LaVine is a career 113.7 defensive rating. Last season, he was 116.1. This season, he's 111.6. Zach has 5 points in a defensive rating. Keep in mind, the lower number is better defensive rating. That's Zach LaVine's second best defensive rating of his career. In 2019-20, he had a 110 defensive rating. That's where I said I want Zach LaVine to be at. I want the offensive efficiency to get back to what it was when he was healthy last season. But Zach LaVine's absolutely stepped it up defensively. Absolutely. Zach's defense is so good now compared to last season. Yeah, like it's not like, especially the off the ball defense. It's been great. Then the on the ball defense has been much better. He's been doing a much better job at staying ahead of his guy, staying in front of him. And yeah, that's the growth that I wanted to see. I called out for Zach LaVine to take a step defensively this season, and he's doing that in small sample size so far. Somebody asked what Vooch's PER is. Vooch's PER right now is 18.59. Which is good, better than last season so far. He's averaging 16 points and 12 rebounds per game. His usage rate has dropped since last season. His rebounding rate's gone up. His assist rate's still about the same. His turnover rate has gone up as well. So we need to see that. And his true shooting percentage is three percentage points better. So that's for Brandon L. Jet, who asked what's Vooch's PER. He's doing much better than last. He's a much more efficient player than last season. Shay says Vucevic has to come out swinging this game because I don't know No one who can guard him besides Precious Ochoa. That's not how you spell his last name. I'm good. Shout out to you for sounding it out, though. But yeah, I agree. Vooch has to assert himself this game. 100 in here, 19 likes. Come on, chat. We can do better than that. Come on, get the likes up, fam. You already know we are already pushing towards our goal of being to 10,000 subscribers by my birthday, December 5th. Mine and Brandon L. Jett's birthday of December 5th. So we're at about 958 away from that goal. 958 away from that goal. That's a tall order for us to do it, but I think we can do it. Was watching the Lakers game, and I just realized Troy Brown Jr. over there. Oh, yeah. I think he started a game for them, too, at some point this season. Now, imagine when Lonzo and Drummond get back. Our defense is going to be top tier. Lonzo, Caruso, Ayo, and Dragic on the perimeter defense. Drummond on the interior. P. Will and Zach is getting up there, definitely. And don't forget Javonte Green as well, who's a terror defensively. So definitely looking for him to do some things for us as well. Big time there. Vooch does hit some big three-pointers when they matter. He had 2 big ones against Boston. Oh, yeah, Vooch has been clutch this season. Vooch has been clutch. In most games, when we need something down the stretch, if it's a tight game, Vooch has been very consistent. No matter how he played throughout the rest of the game, he's been very consistent in those areas. So, yeah, Vooch is on point, man. We already know what Vooch is and means to this team for sure. Somebody asked what Lonzo's PER was. It was 14.49. See, again, no, I don't do it with points. I don't care about the points. I need to see him have a defensive game. I want Patrick Williams to have to assert him, not to have to, but assert himself so well and establish himself on the defensive end that we take a look at that and say, hey, listen, P. Will got 9 or 10 points tonight, but what he did defensively, what he did to Scotty Barnes, did you see that? That's the type of game I want to see from P. Will. I think the key to unlocking P. Will is, yeah, you need to play through him some. You need to run more plays for him. Keep in mind, P. Will has only had 12 games in his NBA career and over 100 games played at this point of averaging double-digit shot attempts. And in those, he's averaged 18.7 points per game. He when you give him the opportunity, he usually performs. But that's not really his role on this team. I want to see him have a huge defensive night. Now, you could say as well, with Zach LaVine out, he needs to step up offensively, and I agree to that. I'm still not ready to call necessarily 18 points because of what he's going to have to do defensively. I was having an argument with my brother, and he said that Derek Favors could help our team a lot. I don't think so because he can't shoot the ball, and he basically does the same thing Andre does. Well, with Andre being out, right, and if I don't know what's going on here, I wouldn't say adding the more depth to that big man position in general is going to hurt. I don't think that it will. I would like to see more of a person who can play the 4 and 5 and offer some shooting. But if they ended up bringing in Favors, I wouldn't necessarily hate it. Favors was one of the players that if he had gotten bought out last season, I would have been interested in the Bulls looking at. P. Will needs to be a terror against Scotty Barnes. Yes, agreed. Absolutely. Brendan L. Jett. P. Will also made Jason Tatum work his ass off last game. Yes, he did. He called for the switch every time. Will it be possible to re-sign both Javonte and Ayo this? Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, we have the bird rights on both players. So, yeah, it's absolutely possible. It just really boils down to Javonte Green's 29. This is going to be probably Javonte's only time to sign a semi-big long-term contract because he's just late to coming into the NBA. He's going to be 30 next offseason. So with that being said, Javonte, he's not going to break the bank. He's not going to ask, I don't think, for 15-something million, but it could get upwards of mid-level exception money. It could get to the $7 or $8 million range. And I think at that point, the Bulls have to look at their roster, look at who else is out there in free agency and say, hey, what are we going to do? But I definitely think there's higher chances than not than Javonte's coming back to Chicago this offseason. People lost us the game, though, with all those turnovers. No, he didn't lose us the game. He definitely contributed to the loss. That interior defense lost us the game. And Patrick Williams, last I checked, didn't guard Malcolm Brogdon any. And Brogdon cooked us in the last seconds of that game. So it wasn't just P. Will. Who do you think will play better, DJJ or P. Will? I say I'm going to bet on P. Will. I think P. Will, even the fact that he took that last second shot Shows how his confidence has come. Hopefully he didn't hit his confidence too hard. Hopefully he realizes, let me put the ball on the floor. Let me not get ahead of the play so I don't have so many traveling violations. But I think P. Will is going to have the better game. Let's get this W. Salute CEO Haize. Best Bull show on the tube. Smash the thumbs up. Hit the sub button. Support the Reals Bulls Nation. Thank you, Big Worm. I appreciate that, brother. Definitely appreciate that. Pascal is out for sure. He's out for the next 2 weeks. Van Fleet is playing. Pascal Siakam is out for 2 weeks. No, that was actually Zach LaVine that got stripped twice in the play and still got the ball back and got it to P. Will. But no, P. Will, that loss didn't come just because of P. Will. I am not even going to try to pronounce your name because I don't want to disrespect you by murdering it. So I'm going to call you YW. Hi from Australia. We're getting ready to watch the game at 9:30 a.m. Monday morning. Well, shout out to you for being up early, and hopefully you don't have to work today. So, shout out to that. Yeah, also DeMar got stripped once with like 3 minutes left. Yeah, he did as well. There was a couple of mistakes down the stretch of that game. A couple of them. What did you do, Brandon L. Why are you oopsing, brother? What happened? What happened? But all right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it down. We got 10 minutes. Isn't it pronounced? Oh, Julia. Yulia or Julia? I could say that. Shout out to Alana for helping me out there. But all right, y'all, we're going to go ahead and shut it down. We're going to get ready for the game. 10 minutes away. Be sure to be back here. Hit that subscribe button. Again, we are trying to get to our goal of 10,000 subscribers by my birthday, December 5th. So we got a long way to go. This would have to be one of our biggest months as far as new subscribers for us to hit the goal, but I think we can do it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we're doing a big giveaway at the 10K mark. So be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, make sure you're following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text and or voicemail for our mailbag episodes, which are on weekends, you can do so at 773-270-2799. We're the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I will see you guys. Shout out to Marcus Couch in the building. I got to get you on the show, bro. I got to get you on the show. It would do me great honor to have you on the show, bro. So just let me know. Hit me up in the DM on Twitter. But that is it. I will see you guys at halftime. Peace, y'all.